Konbanwa and welcome to the wrestling scene's Toukon Retsuden, the world of Japanese professional wrestling. Today, on this episode, we conclude our coverage from the September 13th?
September 29th,
I had
2013.
I had all the numbers there just in the wrong order. Coverage of the Dome Show from New Japan Pro Wrestling. No.
It wasn't a Dome Show.
That's right.
It was a Destruction pay-per-view in front of 8,000 people.
Destruction pay-per-view. That was it. The Destruction made me think Dome. They both have Ds. Anyway, 2 matches today, brought to you by none other than myself, the Great Riki. I'm stopping the craziness. Takes too much time.
That's what I was thinking.
Mr. Daniel Edward Ginnity, Esquire.
I'm not going to do anything. I'll just let it come up.
Okay.
There.
And today, those 2 matches are our first. Wow, it's early.
It's a
guys.
double main event.
There you go, double main event.
Spectacular for this episode, closing out the Destruction pay-per-view. And we don't have a lot of time to talk because these matches are awesome because they're long matches.
And because I've been yammering so badly to begin with.
Yeah, don't get used to this because you're not going to see much of our faces for the rest of the show.
So I'm glad I'm screwing it up this badly. To begin with, we will start with Masato Tanaka. He of many of you out there's most likely reference would be EC Dub fan.
EC Dub.
Taking on none other than Tetsuya Naito.
The returning, the Crazy Chicken.
The Crazy Chicken.
Or the Pollo Loco Star or something.
Pollos Hermanos or something.
Nah, who knows? We'll see it on the back of his tights.
And finishing up with the main event from the show for the IWGP International World Grand Prix Heavyweight Championship. It is Okada defending here?
I think so. I don't think Kojima's had it.
It's Kazuchika Okada defending his title versus none other than the famous, well-respected Satoshi Kojima, who it is frightening for me to say, Dan,
yes,
but who is the veteran Satoshi Kojima. We remember him back when he was basically one of the young guys.
Yeah, 20-something years ago, 21, 22 years ago.
So that is going to be your main event, and again, we'll get talking a little bit more about the business and the state it's all in as we get going on the show, but just to let you know, as Dan was saying, the Destruction pay-per-view from September 29th, 2013 had over 8,000 people in attendance. What we like to call 12 All Japan shows.
That's
a little bit under that, maybe only 9.
Maybe not. It's horrible, and you'll hear more about how horrible the state of the business is coming right up.
And I would say that we don't have a lot of extra time, so let's go to our first matchup. It is Tetsuya Naito versus Masato Tanaka.
Let's take a look.
And there you see Naito.
Let's see if he, Polvo de Estrella. So that's the Star Chicken, I think. I don't really know what it is.
I don't know.
But he's very popular. Was out for an injury for quite a while. He was challenging for the IWGP title this time about a year ago. He had a really good match with Okada in March of 2012. So now that he's back, I think they're going to have him on the fast track. I expect to see him in a high-profile match in the Dome show as well.
Well, certainly this almost, in a sense, becomes an elimination match for a title shot between 2 of the top contenders. Neither one appears to be legitimate heavyweights.
Did we mention the Never Belt?
We didn't mention it. You know when we've mentioned it before?
Never?
That's correct, Dan.
Anyway, so this Never Belt was a belt that they developed for some of the undercard guys that didn't think they were getting enough exposure with New Japan. But they had limited coverage for a while, so they basically started producing their own shows with a bunch of undercard guys, and the Never Belt was their belt. But now it's made its way onto the bigger shows for New Japan.
And there is Masato Tanaka from the Chaos group.
Chaos. I think Nakamura's were there. Oh, it's the openweight title.
Never championship. So this could be big guys, little guys, whomever shows up.
And like I said before, it started with all the undercard guys. So they needed a way to allow all the undercard guys to fight for the same belt, which means you get your juniors and your heavyweights.
And both of these guys are, while listed as heavyweights, not exactly the biggest of heavyweights.
Yeah, I would say, though, that Masato Tanaka is probably as heavy as he can physically get.
and still be effective in the style he wrestles, certainly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
He's not a big guy.
No.
But both of these guys, Tanaka's, I mean, been a veteran for years now. Wow, and he's always been a pretty good worker. More excitement necessarily than real technique, but not bad.
Hopefully the viewers weren't paying attention to that graphic. Otherwise, it would essentially undo 30 upcoming episodes of Toukon Retsuden.
Yes, I understood exactly what you meant there.
Well, we'll never mention it again. But we will mention is this is awesome already.
Now, Tanaka really was, let's see, he was an FMW guy early on, is that correct?
That is correct.
Was sort of stuck in the mid-cards and floundering because, of course, the guys on top didn't want to give a younger guy their position. Strange how that works.
Yeah, and FMW was already in trouble anyway, so any money that was going around, chances are, was going to the big stars. Where the young under guys, the young boys, were told, just be lucky, just be thankful that you have a venue in which to practice your craft. But you know, the upheaval in FMW splintered into multiple groups, and it was just a disaster.
So he ended up, for a while at least, in ECW, became a big star there.
Yep.
And strangely enough, as we've seen happen before, a little bit of fame for these Japanese guys in the United States can translate into them getting more of a push when they get back home.
Well, I think that no matter, even in the 21st century, if you can get a sniff of the States and get on TV and have any American fan cheer for you, when you come back to Japan, they treat you on a whole different level. Even if it is in a tiny indie fed like ECW that never really mattered, that matters to them because they always feel like American exposure is a big deal.
Series of forearms traded here. No one really gaining the advantage yet, although Masato Tanaka being driven back a step or two and then lands the best one so far, and Naito's in trouble. Yeah, it's bizarre as they reverse.
Oh, nice kick to the side of the head.
But when you get that kind of exposure, it should be remembered, it's too, Dan, that while ECW was never big, they did have a very loyal, very voracious fan base.
That is true,
So,
as evidenced by our trips to the revered dog track.
Yes, that's true.
That was. I'm glad they didn't do. If they had just checked for outstanding warrants while
Wow,
they
they
were
would have had
waiting
a
in
crowd.
line, we would have been front row every time.
Lariat takes Naito down, and outside the ring we go. This is the part of the match we like to call, you paid your money to not be able to see anything.
Well, at least here, 1/4 or maybe even half of the front row people can see something.
Naito driven to the railing outside and back in the ring. Nope. Oh. Did we mention this Never title seems to be less concerned with rules? Oh!
Wait a
That's
minute.
it right across his forehead.
You're
if he
not-
doesn't come up busted, I'll be stunned.
Yeah, I didn't. Maybe I should have watched this match ahead of time. I missed this part. That's hardcore.
Yes, and hardcore means no wrestling necessary.
No, because no one's ever bled in the history of wrestling before the hardcore people came out. Oh, good. Hey, someone's gonna count. This is fantastic.
They're up to 5.
Well, when they get up to 11, let me know. Did he hit him with a soda? No, I saw Eddie Edwards when he did the benefit show in the other building. Hit a guy with a soda.
Yeah.
Tall guy. Eddie Edwards is now wrestling in Noah.
Is he?
Yes, he is. Seemed like a nice guy. I think I got his autograph, or one of the girls got his autograph picture, and it was a good time. Naito laying the chops, and Naito is bigger than him. I don't think he's stronger, but he's definitely younger.
Yep. Less beat up, one would assume. Because Tanaka, this has not been a style that is friendly.
Yeah, I don't think brawling is where Naito wanted to go. I think he's
wouldn't
more
think
of a lucha submission style guy, but he is coming back from a knee injury, so I'm not sure how much he trusts his knee. We may see if he gets the upper hand in the match at some point, we may see some of those maneuvers.
Whipped across, following it up is Tanaka with a jumping elbow smash right to the mush, and down goes Naito.
No, I think that's the knee over there, the right knee.
Kicking out at barely 2, if you even want to call it 2. And going right back to, I don't know exactly what it is.
That's a rear chin lock. Although he's got his fingers dug in.
Yeah, it's really kind of weird.
I guess as long as you have your fingers dug into the jawbone, when you pull the jawbone, everything else follows.
It's a weird application of the move, though.
Yeah, almost like a nerve lock.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of Abdul the Butcher. I don't want to admit how much Abdul the Butcher I've been watching recently, but I was going through the times and checking all those matches.
I bet you were, from old All Japan stuff?
Yeah, old All Japan from 1976 to 1980.
He was never anything resembling good.
Just atrocious.
But people popped in a major way.
Yeah, funny how, how the All Japan fans would sell for a freak show. Who would have saw that coming?
Slapping, it's the exchange. And finally, Naito gets a break and gets the upper hand for a moment. Tanaka down. Yeah, you never would have expected that based on their champion and their founder.
You know, speaking of Antonio Inoki, which with anything in Japanese wrestling, I think a legitimate segue is always to Antonio Inoki. I was recently reading Billy Robinson's autobiography, and he was talking about being in Japan. Now the word is that he was promised money, a certain amount of money by Inoki for their big match, and didn't get what he wanted, and that's why he only wrestled that one tour. Oh, is he gonna follow up?
Jumping elbow, no, ducking underneath, grabbing the arm, taking him around the ropes, DDTing him through that nice maneuver by Naito.
Yeah, a little bit of Lucha influence there. So anyway, apparently he didn't get paid what he thought he was going to get paid. He got angry and went over to All Japan and spent the rest of his career over there. In his book, he clearly stated, though he wrestled in both promotions, that Inoki was the best wrestler he faced as far as having legitimate skills. And he said there were guys trained by Karl Gotch that were also very good, Fujiwara being one of the toughest. But so for those people who think that Billy Robinson felt that Baba was the better worker, as you may be told by people on the internet, Baba's the better worker, Baba's the better worker. Well, none less than Billy Robinson himself disagrees. So I'm going to go with Billy Robinson and my eyes and say I'd rather see Inoki wrestle than
Naito
Baba.
in charge now, rolls over Tanaka. Yeah, I don't know how anyone can actually watch the two of them and believe that that's true in any way, shape, or form.
You know, selling for Baba, even in the late 70s, and then people buying it and cheering for it, is reminiscent of like that differently abled kid that they put on the football field in the last down of the season, and everyone just steps away from him and lets him run for a touchdown and cheers. I don't know what it is. It's like some grand social experiment. Even in light of what the evidence is, just go, no, obviously the best. Yay, everyone cheer for the freak show. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah, in Baba, absolutely. I mean, nothing about his offense was credible.
Nothing, not a shred of it. Even his submission moves were slowly timed, and I think just about anyone will tell you, if you have super long limbs, submission moves...
Oh!
What did he just do? Was that like a stone cold stunner on the top of the ring post?
And takes him with a lariat to follow it up, and Tanaka back in control after a good series of maneuvers by Naito.
Look at that huge sell by Naito, too. Good for him. He has the belt going into this or no?
I believe Tanaka has the belt.
Oh, okay. Because it's moves like this in the first couple minutes of the match that usually indicate to me one thing or another. We'll see if it plays out.
Now, you cannot tell that this guy has an ECW influence. No. I've always wondered, and this has been the one question I've always had, is why exactly do we store our tables underneath the ring?
Kick those out. Here's the thing. After the 9,000th table you've used in a match, how do you not know how to set it up correctly and quickly? Dueling headbutts, you're not going to win this. Naito is approaching this match in a manner I would not.
Yeah, very stupid. I mean, it's not his strength. Is this going to be a leg drop, an elbow drop?
It
What's
could just
Tanaka
be a
going to do?
senton.
If you look at Tanaka's forehead, you can see how much he's worked in this sort of style.
Dub.
Yep, just a big body press on the table, folds the table in half, and Naito does not look like he's present at the moment.
You know what's funny though, is the fans still pop for it. So I guess it's cheap and it's cheesy, but take it. How's Naito not bleeding?
I don't know.
He got hit in the side of the head with that kendo stick.
This has definitely been a bad strategy by Naito to go into this match against this type of wrestler and allow it to become this type of match.
Yeah,
this is Tanaka's strength, no question.
Yeah, next time I'll just bring the printouts for the whole year for the promotions because I'm trying to figure out how long Naito's been back. Because he looks like he's attentive. He's only
Tanaka
had
waiting
2
for him
moves.
to reach his feet.
This has got to be the big reversal to make this match work.
Big lariat in the corner, whips him
No
across,
reversal
follows
there.
it in with another lariat.
All right, that's not exactly a reversal.
Reverse there by Naito, but runs right into the charging lariat of Tanaka, who is in total command of this match again. There was a sequence there, Dan, where a couple quick moves. He had that DDT off, the spinning DDT off the second rope.
Yeah.
But really was short-lived, and other than that, it has been Masato Tanaka's match, and the style of match has been his. Again, styles make fights is the old boxing adage.
Yeah.
Certainly falls true sometimes in professional wrestling, where if you're fighting completely in the other guy's style, you're putting yourself in a tremendous disadvantage.
I agree with everything you said. So much at this level, they're fighting for a title, and it's a third-tier title, but it's a third-tier title in the first-tier promotion. These guys know what they're doing. So if you can't...
Big top rope suplex, rolls him over, holding on to him. Into a brain buster. Nice move by Masato Tanaka. This has got to be over 2. What a show of strength and fighting spirit by Naito to kick out at that moment.
That's all he's got. That was desperation. That was crazy. So anyway, if you can't keep... Did he do it?
Nice job. Grab the arm. 2. Just barely missing, but a nice counter by Naito, and then a slide kick to the side of the head. Takes down Tanaka and turns the match a bit. Gives him a minute anyway.
So it was a little snap kick. It didn't have a ton of force, but when you're hitting the head, you don't need a ton. This is a buy-time maneuver. That was a great move. I saw him move his arm in a weird way. Little did I know, that's a setup for some kind of lucha pin attempt. And it was quick, and that's exactly what you'd expect. So anyway, at this level, you want to definitely get into your style of match against another champion.
Drop kick sends Tanaka down all the way across the ring. And right now, Naito may have a chance of getting back in the match. Like, certainly, this has been the last 30 seconds more his style.
Yeah, it's about time.
What he can do.
But if the reigning champion is allowed to fight his style, what chance do you have of beating him straight up? Not much.
Probably a Hurricane Rana.
Yeah, off the top rope, and he nailed it. Actually looked really good.
Really looked good.
With that camera shot, if there's any daylight between the guy's head and the mat, you're going to see it.
Dan, I will say this as well. I think the work on the cameras has improved in the last 15 years incredibly, particularly for some of these high risk or high chance of someone screwing it up a bit moves. They're really good at cutting to the different camera angles. It's a WWE thing especially. Huge lariat,
another huge sell.
folding him over. He may have him here.
1, 2. He retains it. No, he doesn't. He's still alive.
Naito kicks out, but total control there by a huge lariat. Series of forearm smashes now.
Oh, you sold that one a little early.
Tornado forearm. Backhand.
What the heck?
Smash.
Naito cannot be stopped.
Brain busts him down. I have no idea what he was trying to do there. Oh, he's setting him up for this. Lariat taking him down from low angle. I'm not sure that helps you that much, too. Kicking out is Naito. So if nothing else, we have established the incredible tenacity and fighting spirit of Naito, even if he goes down here, which certainly seems where we're headed with Tanaka in total control of this match.
At this point in the match, even if Naito loses, he goes over. He did it again. He got something.
This is some kind of weird submission hold as well. Has the arm trapped, even as he's got the head locked by the leg, I believe.
I think he's one arm away. I think if he can get his other arm, he does have his other arm over. So this is like a choke maneuver with your hands and one leg. I'm impressed.
Yeah, that was a nice quick counter.
And these he slips into. It makes sense in the context of the match. It doesn't require a lot of choreography and assistance from your opponent. I like these moves that Naito's showing.
Yeah, he applies them very quickly. Tanaka's good enough to be where he needs to be. And they make sense in the context of you can apply a submission hold without having much left. You just have to wrap the guy up in the right way that stops him from being able to do much.
This isn't a cross arm breaker or any number of traditional match-ending submission moves. This is something that he pulls out of his bag of tricks just to buy himself time. And it's totally legitimate and makes sense in the context of the story. Very impressed. This, if this match continues to go this way, I say Naito is definitely a top contender at the Dome show for another title. Because this is what they've seen in him all for several years now, is he gets it. He's a good performer.
That's right, and they've certainly seen enough to push him in other ways, even outside of the title. So we know that he's a guy they see a lot of opportunity in.
Hey, he had a title shot just last year and got injured not long after.
And as I recall, did we do that match?
We sure did.
And that was a pretty darn good match.
That was in the 6/16 open house match that never aired again.
It aired a little bit, but we'll redo that one because it's worth doing. It was a good-looking match.
There were a lot of 2012 matches that were good. I think, did we ever do Suzuki versus Tanahashi?
I don't think so.
I got a commercial DVD of the best matches, and there were 7 uncut ones.
Well, we can definitely think about
doing something like that. There's a low-key match in there, too, believe it or not.
Wow.
I guess he's retiring. Supposedly got hurt on an All-Japan tour, and they promised they would cover his medical, but they didn't, or some such BS.
Series of forearm smashes from both men. Now headbutts again.
Okay,
I don't think this ever works to Naito's advantage.
Did he miss?
That. I
no.
think he did.
Oh, he did?
Yep,
Look
just
at this.
barely missed. Okay, time stood still there for a minute.
Yeah.
These headbutts. Oh, nice. Grabbing the leg and then kick to the shoulder. Maybe caught him in the side of the head a little bit.
Stunned him. Careful now.
Yeah, bad idea. You could see Masato Tanaka playing possum a bit there. But coming off the rope with a huge forearm smash is Naito, and he may have a chance to do something here.
Flying burrito, even more lucha influence. A la Tito Santana.
Bridging suplex to... Ooh, jeesh.
Well, I'll tell you what, for the first pin attempt of the match, not bad for Naito. Dragon suplex, up and over, 1, 2, he won't get him here.
Boy, but just getting out is Tanaka, and how quickly Naito has been able to turn this match around.
Go to a submission or some fancy roll-up. La Magistral, who doesn't love that? All right, enough of that. Uh-oh. This looks painful. Is it like a spinning doctor bomb?
Oh!
He's going to do the Stardust press.
If he lands this, the match is over, I would think. Oh,
he got it.
He did. He landed it well and got him wrapped up too.
Did he get it?
We have a new champion,
Look at
folks.
that. I'm impressed.
Tetsuya Naito with a brilliant finish to the match, finding a way of winning a match that really he had no business winning. Second, never champion, Tetsuya Naito. There you have it. Not a bad little match, Dan.
No,
I mean,
not bad at all.
it's what it is. It's got that deathmatch sort of garbage thrown in here and there.
It sure does.
Having said that, it was a match where, as you said, both guys get put over pretty big. Tanaka looks really good in doing what he does. They were able to make Naito's offense come into the match, make sense, and secure himself the victory with a couple of huge lucha-ish, big-time, high-flying maneuver type.
Yeah,
stuff.
if Naito's just coming back into the promotion, they put him over big time, and he looks like he is ready for prime time.
Boy, is he.
And we're ready for prime time.
All
We're
right,
going to go to the
then
next match.
it's the main event.
It is the main
It's
event
for the
of the evening.
IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It is Satoshi Kojima challenging the champion Kazuchika Okada. Let's take a look. There you see the graphic giving us the 59th IWGP Heavyweight Champion in Kazuchika Okada facing a challenger and former IWGP Champion Satoshi Kojima.
Yeah, well, check. You can see it right
Look
here.
at
They're going
that.
through a video wall of all the prior champions.
Did I just really see that,
Scott Norton had 2? Yeah.
not that Norton had 2, but that
Where is he? There he is, 41st and the 55th.
Sasaki had, I believe, 5 title reigns.
That's
Kensuke.
disgusting. And this match is occurring when? At 6:12? Must have been a 3 o'clock show.
Did you see that this is a 90-minute time limit?
Probably.
I don't think that
Remember
means
the last
anything.
time we watched him go an hour? Wasn't that painful enough?
Yeah, it was.
I remember I was looking over the show online or something. I was watching it, and either you said it or I said it. I can't remember who said it, but it made so much sense as we got through it. We said this was a match between two guys who had 35 minutes of a story to tell, and they just told it twice. Because they started going through moves and spots a second time around just because they had nothing left in the bag.
To tell an hour-long match, you really have to understand a lot of how to tell. You can't go to anything that really matters very early, and you have to figure out how to carry that time when you're not using anything huge and make it still matter during that period.
Yep.
It's not an easy thing to do. And obviously much easier in a sense.
Oh, there's his
there you
partner,
go.
Hiroshi Tenzan Tenkoji, saying good luck. And speaking of Inoki, the one criticism that I've heard that is almost legitimate of his match with Billy Robinson is that for a 1 hour draw, the pacing was weird.
Yes, it was.
My entire point is you would never know the pacing is weird if you were watching the match when it happened. It's only knowing that it's a 60-minute draw going into it that it goes the whole 60, and then you watch it and go, what the heck were you going to do with the last 42 seconds of a third fall? That doesn't give me a time to enjoy it. You don't know that when you're watching it. You don't know the boxing match is a knockout in the 14th round unless you watch, if you already know it's a knockout on the 14th, then you're going to criticize the 13th.
That's right. I mean, if you watch John Tate get brutalized in the 15th round with 40 seconds left by Mike Weaver after he may well have won
I was going to just mention Mike
13
Weaver.
or 14 of those rounds.
Mike Weaver, boy, and he ate himself out of. Didn't he eat himself out of the sport
was
after
never.
that?
Mike Weaver was a guy who should have been a lot better than he was.
Yes.
He had a ton of power, but just was almost muscle bound and rarely could get the delivery system worked out.
You heard Tommy Morrison pass, right?
I did, yes. Despite everyone trying to claim who's associated with him, it wasn't related to what it obviously was related to.
Yeah.
Another member of Chaos, Mr. Rainmaker himself, that short angle, quick clothesline.
If you want to follow Kazuchika Okada on Twitter, you just saw how to do it. If you're on Twitter, you want to, and there's translators so you can read them in English. I have no idea what he says, but it's probably, buy my book or buy my grill.
I think it's probably discussions on the Higgs boson. I tell you, I went to a lecture on the Higgs boson and about how they found it and about how it worked out and all that stuff. It was very interesting. It was actually the people who were competing against the ones that came out with it. They were in a race to see which of these physicists could come up with it first.
Yep.
They actually had found something that the ones who divulged the information had yet to be able to prove.
Yeah.
Some other stuff, but it's interesting.
Yeah, they haven't exactly nailed it down yet as far as getting it to exist for a long time, but they're so much closer than they were before. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with what essentially is what did we used to call it? Not antimatter.
It's antimatter type stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Star Trek had it figured out all along.
Yep. It's like that Google phone where they show a picture. You ever see Sheridan? Well, no, was it Sheridan from Babylon 5?
Yes.
What a dink. Honestly, you just looked at him. That first captain on Babylon 5, I just did not like.
Good show, though.
I love the show. I wish they'd relaunch it with all this other garbage on. Oh boy.
90 minutes to a single fall.
90 minutes.
And I agree with you completely, Dan. If you don't know that first match is ending that match with Inoki and Robinson is ending that way, you're caught up in the fact of, oh my God, it's still going. They're still in the first fall. I can't believe it. You get to the end of the first fall, which I think is about 55 minutes in.
42 minutes for the first fall, 16 something for the second. And
I think there was another one that had it even tighter.
It was less than a minute for the third fall. But the first fall's not super late. when you get to 58 minutes and 59 minutes in so many seconds, and there hasn't been a second fall, you're going to, holy crap, Billy Robinson's going to win this match. And then Inoki pulls it out, and then it's like, what's going on? You only have a minute left, and you know it's going to be a total scramble then. But why are you criticizing a match? You know, do you want every 3-fall match to go 20, 20, and 20? Because
That's right.
Baba's 3-fall match didn't do that. It went like 10, 5, and 8, 4. I don't think it was a 20-minute match. It's not even comparable, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. And the bell is rung, and you can see they're racing to start the action. Kojima's definitely a high-impact guy.
Yeah.
A lot of charisma, though maybe not any more than Okada, who is actually, of the young guys, he is one of the guys who I really think could be the linchpin to maybe get wrestling back on top, if you will.
Yeah.
He's good-looking.
Good-looking, young, and he can wrestle. He's got a strong gimmick. Nakamura, who's older than this guy, but his gimmick is very strong now. And then Tanahashi, he's been around so long, my fear is that he just might be a little stale.
But then you got Naito, too, who can add in that brilliant quick-moving stuff, the lucha sort of aspect, which is so much different than what a lot of these guys are going to offer. You have one big heavyweight, sort of strange phrase there, but one heavyweight there who can offer that, and all of a sudden you've got a totally different mix in a bunch of matches than you would have if everyone was wearing black trunks and black boots and wrestling in a very arcane or ancient style.
Yeah, you know what? That's the one thing that they don't have.
Archaic was the word I was looking for, but
arcane's good enough. They don't have a strong guy heavyweight as a top contender in this promotion. Now, of course, Noah doesn't. Their GHC title holder is like 170 pounds, so that's the state of Noah. But that's like a spot on a baseball team. That's a position that can be filled by anybody.
Yeah, it's a first
and the fans will buy it. They need to see the big, strong guy who has a whole range of moves that work against opponents that these guys just don't have.
Now, is Nakanishi still there?
Yeah, but he's mid-card now.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't remember the last time he got a sniff at a title.
Right. I mean, you could at any time elevate him with a couple of big wins where his power
he's
shows
no
up.
Kid, though.
He's not a kid.
He's been
around
wrestling
a
over
long
20
time.
years. He's coming up on he just hit his 21st year, and he was a college guy, so he's 44.
Yep.
I would just hurt him.
Okada has the ability to get the crowd behind him with his goofiness and get the people into the match, and that's really what you want. Is he drops an elbow to the knee and locks it up, but Kojima's able to use a crossface on him from that position.
Yeah, he's just annoying. You just want to hurt him, but he can wrestle well, so that's the good part. Is he can back it up. Working on it. It looked like he was trying to go for a figure 4 arm lock.
You know, I don't think we talked about this on the show yet. I know we've spoken about it outside of it. I was just thinking about, somehow my thought came to Hashimoto and where he would fit in, even at his age, where he's still around. And
he'd be no kid.
He'd be no kid, but he'd still matter.
They're coming up on 30 years. He'd be almost 50.
Yep.
I don't know if that body style survives 50.
That's true.
You know, there's only one Tenryu.
That's absolutely true.
Oh, we'll have to do that. Tenryu was in a match on that Kabashi show.
Yeah, we'll have to bring in him because Genichiro Tenryu is pushing, not 50, folks, but pushing 60 and pushing it hard.
He already pushed it.
Yeah, he pushed way beyond it, hasn't he?
He's 62, because I remember him being born in 61 because he debuted in 77 at the age of 26. So he's a 51 guy.
51, yeah.
So he's 62 years old now.
And he is just remarkable in what he's been able to do. Is Gran Naniwa still doing anything?
I don't think so, but you know who is?
I mean, Gran Hamada, actually.
Yeah, Gran Hamada's still there. The original Tiger Mask is still around. And Choshu and Fujinami are still wrestling, and they all wrestle in the same Legend promotion.
Which, I mean, you know...
With Akira, I think. Oh, good job
if
by
nothing else,
Kojima.
I mean, they may not be great matches, but there's the nostalgic aspect to it. And those guys have one other thing that some of these guys will never have.
Yeah, when you
they
go to
matter.
some obscure indie show in the middle of nowhere and the fans cheer because they're just happy to see something, then you have nobodies who can't wrestle getting cheered. When you have legitimate legends coming in saying, we're 60, we don't do what we used to do, but we can do something, they're more deserving of the cheers because they actually could wrestle at one point. A lot of these indie guys never could and never will. So the concept of the legend promotion makes sense to me. You have a show every 6 weeks, and you get a decent house. It's not like you're training full-time or touring full-time. And these guys basically show up. It's almost like it's akin to an autograph signing. Mm-hmm. They show up, but they play around on the mat for 10 minutes, and everyone goes crazy. Kobayashi, I think, is still in it.
Yeah, and you know they're going to do all their spots that they can still do. Probably no one's doing a moonsault, but most of those guys didn't anyway.
Yeah.
But you're going to see a wind-up lariat from Choshu. You're going to see Fujinami doing some of his stuff.
Fujinami is younger than Tenryu.
Yep.
I think Fujinami was 1953, so he's a couple years younger.
I believe, Dan, I was wrong in this. I believe it is only a 60-minute match. Only.
Oh, good.
But I don't think we're going to approach either time, so it don't really matters.
Although the pace they started the match made me wonder if they were going to stretch it out.
Kojima putting up a good effort right now. As we saw, he is a two-time IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Did he ever win the G1 Climax? I cannot recall if he did or not.
Well, you know what? I'm going to abandon the timer because it's too late now. We're basically going to go finish this up.
Double axe handle to the back, stomping him down. And again, the champion is in trouble as Kojima has been able to
I have no connection. Never
exert
mind.
his force on the match and is in control. Another stomp to the back of the head. And Jimmy Okada has not really been able to get any offense or any sustained offense in during the match so far. But he is a resilient champion, and the youth allows him to have a lot more recuperative ability than the older wrestlers, and that may have hurt Kojima a bit.
Nice.
Yep, catches him with that sliding drop kick.
And look at where the camera is. It's right on an angle so that all you get is the upper body of Okada when he delivers the kick. It could miss him by a mile, and you'll never know because the camera's in the right spot. What was I going to say? Oh, we're doing this show from the atomic bunker here in Carver, so we have no cell phone service, no lights, barely any power.
But at least it's a bunker. That almost looks bizarre because it almost looks like he's got his head pushing through the thing instead of pulling it back up at first. Very bizarre. But yeah, that's going to hurt. And Kojima's in some degree of distress there. The referee out there to check on the situation doesn't seem to notice he's supposed to be in the ring and counting, but that's okay.
I like how he walks around oblivious even after he delivers all this damage. Then Okada just kind of strolls around.
It's like, what? I didn't do
without
anything.
a care in the world.
And he's back in the ring, just sitting there waiting. But again, this is the advantage of being the younger wrestler. You haven't taken the amount of damage. You may not have the experience, but you're going to have a resiliency maybe that some of the older guys have had beaten out of them.
Mm-hmm. That's true. At what price do you gain your experience? Mm-hmm. And that's usually from speed, injuries,
body slamming him down. Outfield, you just better be quick. Oh, it's a senton, lands it nicely, rolls through it. Again, good camera work and good application by Okada to at least make it appear like it landed pretty solidly. Sometimes those sentons look like they missed by about a yard.
Yeah, if this wasn't Okada, I would say that they're building this match to go like 88 minutes because he delivers move, walks around, poses, but that's what Okada does.
Yeah, as we talked about, I mean, there's just no way in my mind of looking at Baba's offense at his best and Inoki's offense when he was 50 and thinking that they're the same thing. And Inoki just was far more athletic, far more able, due to that athleticism, to both sell the opponent's maneuvers, but also to just make the pacing of the match something that made sense.
Yes.
And wasn't hideous to watch.
Yep. And the apologists would say, well, Baba was a professional baseball player. And to that I would say, so was Terry Forrester, wasn't he? Wasn't he the guy that Dave Letterman used to make fun of, a 300-pound relief pitcher?
Yep.
Not exactly a fair comparison.
Well, what does that mean? I mean, what if he was a professional race car driver? How does that apply to wrestling at all?
Well, professional athlete.
Right.
Same way as like a professional bowler.
So, what we're supposed to believe is if this guy was a jockey, that he somehow that gives him
He could
validity
be like
as
a
a
jockey
wrestler.
for giraffes. I think I've just invented a new sport in my
I think
head.
that's a hell of a sport.
I bet you they can run pretty fast.
They can.
Yeah, so I just, I don't know, I never bought it, I never saw it. I never saw a shred of strength. When Stan Hansen had to, sacrifice his integrity just to have some kind of shame when someone say, how the heck did you sell for Baba all those years? He had to claim that he had like super tendon strength, which doesn't exist really. It's all muscle strength. It's whether the tendons can support the strength of the muscle. Like roid people will rip the muscle right off the tendon.
I would argue there is something to a natural strength that belies that.
But
That's a different issue
But all that
altogether.
is just a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers in your muscle.
And by the way,
Yeah.
fast twitch was nothing that happened with Baba.
Thank you.
Which immediately gets in the way
You
of that
remember all
theory
those
as well.
power moves Baba had? Oh wait, he didn't.
Uppercut by Okada, another one. Third one, and he's driven back. Kojima drop kick, but Kojima holds on to the rope to avoid it. There was some experience shown there and allows him to go with a big belly-to-back suplex, or backdrop suplex, and he is at least stalled the offense of Okada for a minute.
I mean, when they had their big All-Star show in August 26, 1979, originally Inoki wanted to face Baba one-on-one. And everybody knows why. Because without the fear of being fired by the people running JWA, Inoki would annihilate Baba, humiliate Baba in the ring. So instead, he refused, as Baba would, and they ended up with a tag match.
Series of endless chops and Okada. So just for the record, Okada gets it.
Yes.
Hits him with a forearm. Now that's sort of often the setup to the Rainmaker or something similar.
Yep.
Out of the way is Kojima, and he's got him back there. Huge chop across the chest. We'll see if the beatings continue.
You know what's sad is that...
Comes in, jumping forearm smash, rolling him over. Kojima's been
boy.
doing this for years.
He's been doing it for 20 years. And
You
we're
see
going to say one
the
more
fans
time.
were popping the minute he got ready with that. Elbow smash to the midsection. Goes for the cover. I don't think so. This is a proud champion who's shown his resiliency in other matches. He can take a beating and keep on ticking. He really can. Gets the boot up, which is about halfway across the ring. Gets it again, but blocked by Kojima. Comes in with those forearm smashes. Tornado one, runs into the uppercut. Catches the leg. Kicks
right
the
to the
face
head.
of
Let's do
Kojima.
it. Oh, careful now. Hold the arm. Okay, good. Don't kill the guy. It's like a knee breaker. The first time Kojima delivered one of those top rope elbow drops, Kazuchika Okada was not even alive.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he was born until 1993, which made him 16 when he debuted for...
So he's Dylan's age. Dylan Riki, who was on this show
No,
so
he's a
long
little
ago.
bit older than that.
Well, 93 would be Dylan's age.
Does that make sense? So that makes him 20. Okay, he's got to be older than that.
So like 90 maybe, or 91.
No, 2009, right? Oh, I'm thinking 2004, sorry. I got it wrong. I was thinking he debuted in 2009.
DDT counter.
It was 2004. I'm off by 5 years. Never mind.
Okay.
So that pushes him back to like 1989 or 1990.
Which still means Kojima may well have delivered one of those somewhere in an
88.
undercard.
Yeah. Well, he didn't debut till like 1991 or 1990. It was close enough.
Is that
That is Gato,
Gato?
the booker of New Japan.
Really?
And a member of Chaos with this guy. I think it's Chaos or GBH.
Yeah, Chaos.
All right.
Continuing strikes. Good sell and good land by Okada. Overhand chop. Now the forearm. That's better for Kojima. He wants to go with the forearms instead of overhand chops, I
Oh,
think.
nice. That's a little Terry Funkish cell there with the upper body popping around.
How is Terry Funk these days?
He's still alive, you know.
That might be among the more amazing things that you can say.
Yeah, he
Terry
survived.
Funk is still alive.
It was that age before drugs were crazy, so he just drank. He didn't take drugs, and that's why
Yeah,
he's
he always
still
said he
around.
was afraid of drugs, even the ones that would help him.
He should be.
Yeah.
Because he was no spring chicken when they started getting popular with everybody. And, you know, after 40 or 80 or 180 wrestlers die in their 40s
Yep.
because of drug use.
Yeah, in fact, one thing I started to discuss and kind of got distracted by the match of all things, it was, and I don't think we talked about it here, but the Real Sports interview with Diamond Dallas Page and the work he's done to rehab basically
Jake the Snake and the other guy, Scott Hall.
Scott Hall.
I don't know how that's going. I haven't seen any videos lately. I know that Scott Hall got his hip done, and I forget what needed to be done. I think it was the shoulder for Jake the Snake Roberts. They got their surgery done. So they were looking, they do a Kickstarter type thing, and they offer and say, okay, for anyone who donates $50, we'll give you a t-shirt, and this guy will, for different amounts, they'll like sign a DVD or sign something to you. And they said, we're looking for 15,000, and
Laro to the top, sends Okada out of the ring. Kojima will have a break now.
Yep. So they were looking for 15 grand to fund his shoulder surgery, and they said that you know, it'll take a few months, but we need that. We're looking for this in a few months. I believe it took 15 hours before they had over $15,000 in the Kickstarter to get Scott Hall his surgery.
Amazing. I mean, people do care about those guys, and it's tragic to see what they've done to themselves and what the sport has done to them. A lot of times it's in that order as well, particularly with those two.
Well, I think it's easier for fans to fund an operation than it is to fund another rehab.
That's right.
Because the operation is because of they put their bodies on the line in the ring. You know, their drug use is on them, in my opinion.
And it really seems like what Diamond Dallas Page has done, which has got this almost compound that they stay with him.
Yeah.
You got them. I guess Jake the Snake had really been the one guy that gave him a chance going in. Of course, he worked a lot with Scott Hall. There you've got a Diamond Kojima cutter.
Kojima cutter.
Lands that on.
Speaking of Diamond Dallas Page,
Okada.
there we go.
Yep, there you go. And just amazing, really, that his yoga, of all things. Yoga is helping these guys. Who'd have thunk it?
Well, with the injuries and the age that they're at, throwing around weights in the gym probably is not the best for them.
Same principle of Tai Chi. Tell you a story about Tai Chi maybe on our next episode. Taking him down low, top rope cutter. And Kojima will go for the cover. We may have a new champion too. Just kicking out is Okada.
That was a close one.
That was high impact right there. Now Kojima, if he can follow it up, and you can see Tenzan urging him on.
And he didn't rotate all the way around. It was like a 3/4 delivery of that top rope Kojima cutter. And the lariat, is that what's coming?
Oh boy, I'm not sure that's a good exchange right there.
Well, you gotta watch out. This guy's long and spindly. He does
That's right. His big
submission
thing
moves.
is the Rainmaker too. Look at that. Boot comes halfway across the ring, slides behind, spins. They're going for the Rainmaker there, blocked. Double Mongolian chop. Double chop like Tenzan.
Yeah, he's stealing Tenzan's plays, and who would know better than him?
3 in a row, and you can see Tenzan urging him on. Forearm smash. And now Kojima is solidly in control. He just needs to figure out a way to finish this match off.
And he's wearing, Tenzan's wearing a Kojima lariat shirt, probably from, I don't even know if they
Is
make
this like
that
a
one
Nagata
anymore.
lock?
It looks like a Nagata lock to me.
So we're going with all the veterans' moves mixed into Kojima. And that's sort of what he did
He
early
needs
on,
to do a
too.
back brain kick then. Do the Enzigiri.
I believe Kojima was a student of Keiji Muto. Is
Oh,
that
no,
correct?
I'm sorry. You know what this is? This is Tenzan's move, the Cobra.
That's right. Yep.
I'm sorry, the Anaconda Vice.
Right. Good
And
call,
that's,
Dan.
that's what he won the 2004 G1 Climax with. The dropping one on Akiyama, I believe.
That's correct. Good call, Dan.
So eventually we'll figure out the story. If only it was in English.
Well, they wouldn't need us. But there you go. I mean, we figured it out pretty quickly. There you go. He's using a lot of the moves. Makes total sense, doesn't he? Went to the double Mongolian chop. Then into
that
this.
was the lead-in.
Reaching the ropes with his foot is Okada.
Yep.
And the champion has force that hold to be broken, but he is in dire straits right now. Can Satoshi Kojima summon up all that experience and basically turn back the clock and become the 60th IWGP Heavyweight Champion?
And the three-time.
Third time. 41, 55, and this would be 60.
Elbow. Oh, I see. Now this is not what I want to do.
Drop kick to the top and off the apron down.
Oh, hit his head too. Nice sell for Kojima. See, this is where the youth of Okada shows up. He still was burning over the fact he didn't get his top rope drop kick in the very beginning of the match. So when he had an advantage, instead of doing something really nasty, he just propped him up and said, okay, now I got that out of the way.
He also needed a break.
Yeah, he got some space with that.
See where we go from here. Drives him back into the railings.
I like his timing too. He sells well. His timing on offense is good, and he's fast. So he's fast and quick at the same time.
Yep.
To be quick and have good timing is very difficult. He's going to DDT him. Could be a DDT.
Oh, that is
Nelly.
nasty.
And you know what's funny? The funny part about all this? At this point, at the time of this match, he just hit his 9th anniversary of being in the business.
Wow.
He's been in the business for 9 years. 25-year-old kid. And this is where he's at. So talk about upside. He's 25. He's going to fill out a little bit more, which will help him with his build. It won't look bad for him. It's not like an Otani.
No, he's
out.
big. He's big enough to carry it.
He's got room to put it, which will further solidify his heavyweight status. He's got the height for it. He'll have the weight for it too.
You see his longtime partner urging Kojima in. He just barely gets in before the countout, I guess. And pretty much unceremoniously brought in. 1, 2, kicking out is Kojima.
Okay, well this is it. This is high octane. What the?
I don't know what he was going for there, but it didn't work. Luckily,
No, this is his move. This is the delivery of the move. It's lucha-ish, so it takes a lot of work.
I don't like the double kickback. It makes no sense to me.
It's like a back camel clutch variation.
Crossface thing.
Yeah. Step over toe hold with other stuff thrown in.
Kojima does have his arms firmly underneath him, though, and he's dragging himself towards the ropes. He's within just about there, and you can see Okada lean down to get him off of this position to be able to reach. Now, can Okada figure out a way to drag him back in?
Well, I think I figured out a way to make this move even better if you can do it. He seems like he's got the long limbs. His left arm, if he brought it underneath Kojima's left arm and traps one arm, all of a sudden Kojima has both legs tied up and one arm tied up. He only has one arm to move anywhere. And that way it's going to make him harder to scoot across the ring and escape.
Okada breathing hard. He definitely has some good facial expressions. Over the top, but pretty funny.
Tombstone, no.
Fighting out of it is Kojima. Can he get out of it?
Well, forget about that strength thing. I didn't think he was going to have it. He has to be strong to do what he just did.
Yep. Kojima's going to maybe try and back body drop him over.
Let's see the leg positioning of Okada. That's where it matters
Driving
now.
arms back. He's going to go for a suplex.
Oh, he's got him.
Oh, goes
Side
for a
slam.
brainbuster.
Yeah, no.
Only a 2.
Well, Okada had the advantage long enough where he kind of built up his stamina again, where he wasn't going to be able to get pinned quite so easily.
Kojima needs to be careful now, though. That's more of a brainbuster.
That is a brainbuster. I'm looking at a 2 9/10 here, probably.
Only just over a 2. You can see Gato going mad out there, trying to urge on his man Okada. We've seen a lot of influence from Tenzan urging on Kojima, longtime partners. You can't even remember when they started being partners.
As like an established tag team, as opposed to let's throw all the young boys together.
Yeah,
I don't know, because it was Tenzan who was partners with
Chono forever.
Wasn't it Chono?
Yep, yeah, they were part of NWO Japan, if nothing else. Drop kick catches him. And
He
now
may be able to
Okada,
get the Rainmaker here.
and he's going to go for it, I would
Looks
think.
like he's going to do the spin. Nope.
Nope, still going back for that maneuver. He's going to plant him here. And does. Thank you, long hair.
Yeah. Don't pin here. I would do Rainmaker.
Has him up,
Did I
dragging him
call it?
back.
I called it.
Going for the Rainmaker, ducking underneath, hitting him with a Larry to the back of the head.
Back of the head. Now this is where Kojima can't fool around. Follow up.
Ducking underneath himself, spins, runs, no! Still counters, he was quicker than Okada.
He beat him in his own move. This could be the crowning of a new IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Out of nowhere, he was able to come inside. Shorter limbs actually helped there, Dan.
Yep.
Shorter range, was able to deliver it very quickly, but he needs to take advantage of it now.
This reminds me of a Nokia's .1 second
this.
lariat against Stan Hansen way back in the day.
That was a bad idea. Drop kick sends him down.
Gave him
Here
space.
we go. Catches him with the
Oh, ugly sell. He looked like he was
One,
hurt. 1, 2, 3.
and it started to pour all over Satoshi Kojima. Your winner and still champion with the Rainmaker is Kazuchika Okada.
Wow, what a match.
Pretty darn good
You
match.
keep looking at Okada, he's getting better and better. He's having good matches with almost everybody he faces, which is the real test of an up-and-comer, is can he have a good match with a whole range of opponents. He is from Chaos, so that's confirmed. He is your 59th IWGP Heavyweight Champion
Is that
still.
his fourth defense?
I missed the last digit, but yeah,
It was
probably his
four,
fourth
yep.
defense. I think he got it back in April. So he defended it on the 5-3, the 622, the 720, and now this one.
929.
Yeah, didn't have anything in August, obviously. They were busy.
Yep. And he looked good there. I mean, just a really crisp worker. I mean, some of that walking around thing, but he's got enough charisma to carry it off.
Yeah.
He sells pretty well, delivers his moves pretty cleanly, and has enough variety of moves.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Kojima just the ultimate professional. They're a really good, solid match from a veteran. Still capable of bringing it for the most part. Did basically everything you could ask of him.
I agree, and it's kind of funny. It's almost as if he wrestled Kojima and Tenzan in that match and beat them both. So he put them over doubly from two different angles. And
Also, possibly sets up a match with Tenzan by doing that.
yeah, if there's some shenanigans afterwards, he's got other fish to fry right now. But you could have him go against Tenzan at any point. And speaking of Tenzan at any point, we've got to wrap up this episode.
We do. You see Tenzan and Kojima leaving the ring as we're going to leave the show.
Nice.
For Daniel Edward Kennedy, I am the Great Ricky. We'd like to thank you for joining us again. They're your champion,
Kazuchika Okada.
We'll see you again next time on Toukon Retsuden. Mata Raishu.